opinion. The only thing I would say is it's voted for by the fans. So it's not voted for by Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez. And also, who cares, to be honest? It's not like anything huge. It's not like this massive achievement or anything. Like, we don't see wrestlers gloating that they've won this. We do see Booker of the Year being bandied around when Tony Khan won that. I'd be surprised if he's going to win it again. Although, saying that, I think AEW did all right in the awards. Well, we might as well jump to them, actually, rather than just sit and talk about them. Might as well jump to them. So we have got, let's have a look, see if I can find a list. Here's one that'll get your attention. Worst promotion of the year. Well done to WWE. Yes. Well done, WWE. Worst promotion of the year. So WWE coming in first. I can't see how many votes they received, but they just beat NWA. In third place was Control Your Narrative. In fourth place was AAA. And then in fifth place was GC Dub. But yeah, WWE coming out top in the Wrestling Observer newsletter polls for worst promotion. Interestingly, they do also, I think, finish third for best promotion. That is one that's I've always found that quite entertaining, how the same awards will say that something is garbage, but then equally they do all right when we're talking about the best promotions as well. This is what you get, though, in all fairness, when it's voted for by the fans. So this is no shade on Meltzer and no shade on Brian Alvarez or anything like that. This is just the sort of anomalies that you're going to get when it's voted for by the fans. John Bay said Sami Zayn and Jey Uso show tonight. Should be good. Tonight. I hope you're well, John Bay. We're just having a look at these awards winners. Most overrated wrestler is Ronda Rousey. Second was Tyrus. Third was Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is apparently, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter, the third most overrated wrestler, which I am shocked at. And do you know what's even more shocking? Fourth was CM Punk. I mean, if there's one wrestler you would think that the Wrestling Observer newsletter readers would just idolize and absolutely love, it would be CM Punk. CM Punk, who stood up to WWE, hasn't gone back to WWE, came into AEW, had a big impact on ratings. Obviously, one of the moments of the year was him winning the AEW World Championship. Obviously, there was the big fallout, of course, but I'm quite surprised to see CM Punk fourth. And fifth is Austin Theory. Austin Theory, fifth for most overrated. So, I don't know, man. Some of them are just bizarre. As I said, there's no point getting worked up by it. There's no point getting triggered by it. There's no point ranting and raving over it, right? Because it is what it is. It's been voted for by people. It is what it is. Some of it I find quite bizarre. Roman Reigns. The third most overrated wrestler. What, in all of wrestling? Bizarre. Women's wrestling, right? Sayuri. I don't know who this is. I think she's over in Stardom. So I don't know that. Bianca Belair, she stormed it as well. Got 455 votes. In second place was Bianca Belair. 201 votes. So she stormed it. So this Sayuri? Need to go looking over at Stardom. Stardom is not something that gets my attention, if I'm being honest. But seems like they've got a superstar over there, or certainly someone that's killed it. I mean, that is that landslide. Really is. That's a great result. So Sayuri, and then it's Bianca Belair, then it's Jamie Hayter, then it's Giulia. Don't know, and then it's Kyrie. No Kyrie, of course. So that's best women's wrestlers. Best feuds, FTR and Briscoes. Got no issue with that. CM Punk, MJF. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Yeah. I mean, it is, you could really make the argument that it is maybe the best trilogy from a match quality point of view in like WWE history. It depends what I mean. Like, you could find 3 Brett, Shawn Michaels matches, of course, and I'm sure you could find Undertaker, 3 Undertaker, Shawn. But I'm talking about these being all within the same like year, and all being like pretty much like in the same couple of months. So that was an amazing trilogy of matches. That comes in thirds. Then you got Team Nakano and Natsupoi. Again, Stardom thing, very Stardom heavy. Apparently a Stardom feud was one of the feuds of the year. And then you got like the Elite against Death Triangle. Match of the year. Okay, number 5, Gunther versus Sheamus. No complaints there. Number 4, FTR against the Briscoes. No complaints there. Okada against Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. No complaints there. FTR Briscoes 3, number 2. No complaints there. And Okada against Ospreay, G1 final. No complaints there either. Yeah, no complaints. I mean, one thing that you would expect them to be able to do is name like the best matches and talk about the best matches. And because I would imagine that's a big conversation on the forums, like, what's your match of the year so far? And so that will be something that's just constantly like being mentioned. So that list is normally pretty decent, in all fairness. You don't normally get like any weird stuff on there, because that is really one of the major topics of conversation, throughout the year. We've got a couple of super chats. I want to jump to these. I want to try and get through as many of those awards. There's loads of those awards, I do want to try and get through them. Eifla, is that how you pronounce it? Eifla. Eifla. I've gone with Eifla. Gone with Eifla. That's not a name that I've encountered before, but I really like it. As long as it's the way I pronounce it. Any other pronunciation, I probably don't like it, to be honest. But Eifla, shout out to you. You'll have to let me know how close I'm. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close was I? But shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate the support. 10 being close. 0 being, you've just basically said a completely different name. Ifla said, Days, you're a legend. What do you think will happen with Roman tonight? Do you think we could see him turn against Jey? Well, Roman's not advertised for tonight, to be honest. So I don't know that we're going to see Roman. I think we will get some Bloodline stuff. I mean, I'm expecting Sami, because tonight is SmackDown and Sami is a SmackDown star. I know that we saw him on Monday, and I know that he is now moving towards a partnership, a tag team, a union with Kevin, who's on Raw. So I don't know what we're doing with Sami. I mean, he still wants to see the Bloodline brought down. So we're going to need to see him on Fridays. He can't just go to Mondays. So I don't know if we're going to use his popularity and try and use him on both shows. I think that'd be a bit of a bad idea, to be honest. Just because, like, having him on Raw means that you are seeing quite a bit of him. He's very popular. There's rumors that they got Paul Heyman and like did a few segments on Monday to try and pour some water on Sami, because he's very popular at the moment, right? Very popular. And that is a little bit of a problem when the plan is going all in on Cody. So they really want to try and move him away from that. And I don't know, it's just a bit risky having him around on a Monday when you really want people focused on Cody. But I suppose if you can have him on Monday and use him in a certain way whereby he's making it clear that he doesn't need the belts, he doesn't care about the belts, he just wants to bring the bloodline down, and he can be talking, you know, I'm expecting all this. I'm expecting Sami to like give Cody advice. I'm expecting him to say exactly what he needs to do to get the win. I'm expecting him to say, I'm rooting for you, buddy. Like, I'm expecting all of that stuff, you know? I'm expecting it to be Sami basically giving his blessing to Cody, if you will. Like, I'm rooting for you. Go do it. It's time. It's beyond time. He's got to be brought down. And I'm expecting them to do all of that. So maybe they'll use Sami for that on Raw. Maybe they'll look to move him just completely out the way. But the rumor yesterday was that his popularity was seemingly a bit of a problem. So I think we see him on Fridays predominantly. I do expect to see him tonight. Roman, I don't know. He's not advertised. Could he be on the show? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to be a massive segment if he is? I don't think so. Just because I think if Roman was going to come to the ring and sort out the bloodline stuff, I think that's your headline for tonight. That's your headline. You know, you don't really need to advertise anything else. Tune into SmackDown tonight because Roman Reigns is going to sort the bloodline once and for all. Like, something along those lines. Boom, that's your headline. Everyone's going to tune in. They haven't gone with that. The official breakdown for tonight is Rhea and Charlotte are face-to-face. Ray and Carrion are having a match. Dominic Mysterio is going to be around. We got the Firefly Funhouse. And then there's a 6-person tag match. So Braun, Ricochet, Madcap against Imperium. So that's the official preview. And they haven't like really mentioned anything beyond that. So you never know. They have done it before where Roman has been a surprise. They have done that before. But as of right now, I have to say that I'm not expecting him. And do I see Roman turning on Jey? I think Roman is going to want and surely knows the value in a united bloodline. So it's not in his sense, it's not in his favor to see the bloodline split up. So if I was Roman, I would be doing whatever I could to get Jey back on side, right? So I wouldn't be turning on Jey. I would be trying to get Jey to come round to his senses and rejoin the bloodline. So I think that's what we're seeing. You know, we didn't see Roman disown Jey after the Royal Rumble when he walked away. We didn't see Roman disown Jey when not only did he walk away, but he never got in touch with the bloodline for, like a month or so. Roman watched the show where Jey said backstage, watch SmackDown, Jey said backstage that he doesn't know what he's doing in regards to the bloodline, right? We know Roman saw that. Paul Heyman told us, right? Hence why the Usos were told to stay away. So there's been a few things that have gone down that hasn't prompted a reaction from Roman yet. I don't know if him not using the chair at Elimination Chamber might be the moment that pushes Roman over the edge. That might be the moment that Roman goes, do you know what? Cross the line now. Walking away is one thing, not getting in touch is another, but not doing what I insist you do at a key moment that I need you to do it, you're done, right? I don't think it'll go that way, though, because I think Roman surely knows the value of having a united bloodline. I mean, they have helped him keep a hold of those championships, probably more than his own wrestling ability has. So he, I think, is going to want to get back to those good times. He's going to want to try and get Jey back on sides. And so I don't think he'll turn on Jey. But it is definitely an option. It is an option. And there are some thoughts that maybe WrestleMania will be Solo and Jimmy against Sami and Kevin. I'm not a big fan of that, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I just think that it's the Usos that have been the tag champs all this time. So if you're going to bring down the bloodline, I feel like you have to bring the Usos down. The Usos are obviously a key part of that. And I know that Jimmy is and Solo is, but they're not a tag team, are they? Like, they're brothers, but when have they teamed together? What's their chemistry like? I would go into that match thinking, yeah, I reckon Kevin and Sami are going to win this because it's Solo and it's Jimmy. Like, what's their chemistry like? The Usos have been in WWE for, I think it's 13 years this year. And think of the matches they've had, the bangers they've had, the chemistry that they've got. Like, they are the tag team. You can't just take one member out, switch in another, and expect people to think that that's all right. I understand that he's part of this story, Solo, and I understand he's their brother, but we haven't seen them team together before. Like, they're not a team. It's not a thing that we've seen. It's not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same. So I'm not the biggest fan of that idea, to be honest. I would much rather the Usos against Sami and Kevin. If and there's no point saying or maybe Sami can get to the main event, blah, blah, blah. That's done, innit? It's done. So it looks like this is the match we're getting. It looks like it's Kevin and Sami against two members of the Bloodline, whichever way you want to carve it up, right? But yeah, Jimmy and Solo could go that way. I think the build would have to be really good. Honestly, if you chuck them out there, I just don't think that match is as engaging as them taking down the Usos. And I think, the story of Jay not knowing where he stands with Sami, if you take Jay out of that match, I feel like you're taking away a big piece of the puzzle as well. I feel like you're really taking out, a big part of the story if Jay's not. I mean, I'm sure he would play a part somewhere, come down not knowing who to help type situation, but I don't know. I just sort of feel like he deserves to be on the billboard. He deserves to be in the match. To do it without him would just be weird. What would you do with him at WrestleMania? If Roman's facing Cody and Jimmy and Solo are facing Sami and Kevin, what do you do with Jay? I mean, the only thing I could think is that you would have him just interfere in the match, which, I don't know, it just doesn't grab me as much. I'm not saying it's horrific. I'm not saying it's the worst idea I've ever heard. I'm just saying, personally, just not the way that I would go, but I wouldn't have gone this way anyway. We were, got a few things I wouldn't have done, to be honest. I have no clue. I thought they advertised it. 10 out of 10, by the way. You nailed the name. Come on! Yes. Eve Fleur, shout out to you. How excited are you for the Firefly return? I am very excited. The only thing I would say about the Firefly Funhouse return is I did watch a few towards the end of its run that were largely just promos. I think the Firefly Funhouse, to me, I see a lot of people, I put a post up saying, what do you think you're going to get in Funhouse? And there was some really great responses, but one of them was like, I don't care about this childish BS or something along these lines, right? I can't believe anyone likes this, blah, 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 right? And there are people that have those opinions, but I must admit, I've enjoyed the Funhouse from the beginning, because I think if you look at it at face value, I can understand why people are like, I don't tune into wrestling for this. If you just look at it at face value, you can totally understand. I mean, it wouldn't be the most comfortable thing to show a non-wrestling fan, right? If you know so, unless they're a kid. But if you have a friend, that maybe you go out drinking with, go to the pub with or something, and you talk about wrestling, and they're crashing at yours, and they're like, oh, put some wrestling on then. I'm not sure that you'd reach to the Firefly Funhouse as the first thing you wanted to show them to bring them into wrestling, because the optics of it are obviously not brilliant because it's a kid's show, right? But obviously that's just the surface optics. If you go deeper, we all know that there's a darker undercurrent to it. I love how the puppets, tons of Easter eggs, how the puppets are named after different aspects of Bray Wyatt's life. I love the abandon all hope ye who enter here reference on the door, which obviously connects with Dante's Inferno. I love the fact that we've used it as a way of introducing new puppets to take the mick out of people, like the Vince puppet and the Wobbly Walrus puppet as well. So we had all of that. And there's been, we can go through a whole list of little Easter eggs and little things that have been in the Firefly Funhouse. That's what I love about the Funhouse. The fact that on its surface, it's a kid's show, but once you dig deeper, there's more meaning to it. and it's a real interesting vehicle. It's a very interesting way of delivering promos, basically. But I found towards the end of its run that it just became a backset. It just became a backdrop. It lost its deeper meanings. Like they had like a traveling set, which was much smaller, and they used to just use it as a backdrop, really. You know, Bray would still put on his Firefly Funhouse garb, right? His sweater, whatever. But there was no real deeper meanings or any, like, word of the days. You know, do you remember how word of the day was like psychopath or something, sociopath? There was none of that. There just wasn't anything to get your teeth into. Like, there was nothing to really have fun with in, say, I don't know, a theory video. You know, we were doing theory videos for all the early ones. Towards the end of its time, it just more became a bit of a backdrop. And then you had Bray basically cutting promos in this setting, and that's what it became. Now, I don't think it's going to be that tonight. I'm thinking it's going to be more the original Funhouses, where we do get that kind of deeper, richer Easter eggs and storytelling, and people love. You see, it's kind of it's something that wrestling still hasn't really got its head around, and that is that people at home enjoy more than just watching the show, right? In the sense of, we're all sat at home now with mobile phones that can go onto the internet. We can Google search. We can do loads of different things. QR codes, of course, most notably. And the thing with the Funhouse is that he can say something, or there can be a reference to something that you can do a bit of detective work with. You can punch it into Google. You can have a look on Twitter and see what people are saying about it live as the show is on. Now, before mobile phones, that wasn't, you know, maybe you could have done it with a computer if you had your TV in the same room as your computer. But, you know, before that, I mean, going back to the 90s, even that wouldn't have been possible. So, you know, what we're seeing is we're seeing maybe a new way of interacting with the show live that I don't think we've even scraped the surface of. I mean, we haven't even begun to explore this yet. I'm very surprised that WWE have not really looked at that in the sense of the WWE app could have something on it whereby you can vote live and the results can be shown on, like, you know, on the show. Like, you can vote for certain things, influence certain things, you know, investigate certain things. Like, you know, there's things during the show that allow you to do stuff at home so you can watch it. And if you don't want to do that stuff, it's fine. It's like, the show doesn't change, but they could include little Easter eggs or include little things like, you know, something could happen. There could be a little thing in the corner just to let you know, like, you'll need your app for this. And then you can, like, get a different, richer experience. You know, you can get closer to it. We don't have any of that, right? Whether that could come in the future, I don't know. I would certainly be something, if I was running the company, I'd be interested in doing, right? Because I think that a lot of people are watching shows and they're on their phones anyway, but they just happen to be on Twitter, or they just happen to be on Facebook watching TikToks, whatever, right? Why not have them watch your show and also interact with your app and do something like that? So I'm surprised they haven't done that. I'm surprised that they haven't gone down those roads. But I think that this is where Bray has been a genius, because Bray is someone that has tapped into that. Bray is one of the only performers that has really, I mean, look at the White Rabbit campaign. I mean, that perfect example. White Rabbit campaign was when those QR codes came up, loads of people scanning them, running off to YouTube, running off to Twitter, running off to all these different places. What's the URL? So I was sat here trying to figure out how to find source codes for websites, right? Which is mental. But when you found out that Alistair Black's lyrics were in the first lot, you were then like, well, I need to start doing that now. So now all of a sudden I'm like, you know, I'm learning how to hack. I'm basically a hacker. I'm basically part of Anonymous, right? Now, I don't know how to get into a source code. Don't even know what a source code is. But, you know, I'm sat here doing all this kind of stuff because you're looking for those clues. And God, it was so good. That White Rabbit campaign was so good. And they did continue it a little bit into, like, obviously the Uncle Howdy stuff. You know, we had the liar picture and all that kind of stuff. But this is just building upon what the original Funhouse was for me. The original Funhouse had lots of deeper meaning. It didn't have QR codes, but there was a lot of Easter eggs and there was a lot of deeper meanings and there was a lot of, like, things going on. More than just what you saw on surface level. And so if you was really into it, you know, there was things that you could look into. There was, you know, like that quote, you know, that's from Dante's Inferno. And there was things that you could, like, go back to and, like, have a read into and, like, little comments he would make and whatever. So, yeah, I hope it's going to be more like that rather than just a backstage set. So it was kind of a long answer, wasn't it? But hopefully a rich one. So, Ifla, shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate it. I think we've abandoned the awards, haven't we? Like, we did get through a few. I do want to still try and get back to them, though. Wrestle with Andy said, the big dog is going solo tonight. I think that it's how Cody defeats him because it'll be 1-on-1. Defcom Eric says, and Jack Styles Playground, said Cody and Sami, new SmackDown tag champs, quick fix. New SmackDown tag champs, quick. Well, I think the plan is to have Cody obviously go. I mean, I'm of the opinion, and I know that Austin isn't, but I'm of the opinion, and I would say I'm 99.9% certain, right? Or sure, I can't be certain. I suppose you can't be 99% certain. 99.9% confident, let's put it that way, that Roman loses these titles to Cody. I'm of the opinion that Cody has been the plan since Cody came back. And so they've been waiting for Cody. And I think at WrestleMania, that's when we pulled the trigger. So I can't see him picking up the tag belts just because I think he's going to get the main ones. I think he's going to get the big ones. Austin is of the belief that they're trying to get to 1,000 days. Now, it's a really interesting one because, like, I don't know if he's around actually, but I mean, I don't mind if that's what they do. Like, if Cody doesn't win at WrestleMania, I think there will be obviously people upset, people angry. I won't mind it. To be honest, I won't mind it. I don't mind him getting to the 1,000 days. Cody will get there eventually, and there's a real argument for, should he do it on the first time of trying? You know, is it better that you dangle that carrot a little bit and then, like, get there further down the road? The thing with Sami, the reason why that upset so many people is there's just no belief that there is going to be a further down the road. Like, for Cody, if he didn't win it at WrestleMania, I've got every confidence he'll win it at SummerSlam. If he doesn't win it at SummerSlam, I've got every confidence he'll win it at WrestleMania 40. Right? I've got every confidence that Cody will be a WWE or Universal Champion at some point, right? The only thing that I think can stop it is injury. I think if he gets injured, then I think it won't, then that's it. That's the thing that you're clearly going to be worried about is, like, some sort of career-threatening injury, and then that's it. It was never done. It was never achieved. The story was never finished. Other than that, it's just going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, they are talking about this story. They are showing you pictures of Dusty. It is going to happen. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The question is, when does it happen? I'm of the belief that WWE are just going to get it done. They're just going to get it done at WrestleMania, and then it's done, basically. This year's WrestleMania is that. Who knows? Next year's WrestleMania might be where we do get The Rock, because I'm sure they still want to do that match. So, the focus for this year could be Cody completing the story, And honestly, if you do it next year and they do have The Rock next year, then Cody is going to be overshadowed. Cody will be overshadowed. It'll still be a massive thing for, say, night one, but Rock Roman is one of those all-time dream matches. You know, we're talking like same level as Rock Austin, same level as Cena Rock, you know, same level as Hogan Warrior, right? Same level as Hogan Andre. You know, if we're talking about the biggest star in Hollywood taking on undoubtedly the biggest star in pro wrestling, the tribal chief, I mean, the face of the company, like these two going up against each other would be monumental. Absolutely. I mean, I just don't even know if I could think of a bigger match. I don't even know if there is a bigger match that you could make. I really don't. I mean, Stone Cold versus Roman would probably be up there. Stone Cold versus Roman would be up there. But I think the added intrigue and the added element of them being in the same family of Rock and Roman, and the stuff that you could do with that, and the pictures that you could show of them as being kids together and all that kind of stuff, the effect it's having on the family. Like, I think the story would be richer between Rock and Roman than between, say, Roman and Stone Cold. And honestly, I don't think I could think of a bigger match. So again, you know, you don't want to be putting Cody up against that. So is it better to just pull the trigger now? And then, you know, so if that is the case, then that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think tag titles are going to be in his, immediate future. Let's go down. 100% of the time, Days is right. 99% of the time, said Defcon Eric. Defcon, shout out to you. I'd take 99%. That'd be all right. LSW said 31 months exactly. I'm excited for SmackDown. LS Dub, look at that. That is quite the streak, isn't it? That is do you know, that is mental if you think about it. What you need to get is you need to get 36 months, because then that would exactly be 3 years. 3 years you would have been with the channel. That's mental. That is mental. But I can't praise you until you get to 3 years. So sorry. Ron said Rock is too busy doing movies. Yeah, I mean, apparently he is able to get there. Apparently, like, he can be at WrestleMania, but he's just not able to be match ready for WrestleMania. So I said this before, though. I mean, you must have known the second it was booked in Hollywood. You must have known that you wanted The Rock. Now, maybe The Rock could turn around and go, listen, I don't know what opportunities I'm going to have then, so you need to come back to me like 6 months before, because I can't tell you 3 years before, right? You need to come back to me 6 months before, but I am interested. And so maybe there was nothing they could do until last summer, right? And then they get to last summer, and The Rock's like, oh, I've got, you know, I don't know what, Black Adam 2 or something, whatever he's doing. So I can't, right? So maybe it was out of their hands. Like, I don't know what happens behind the scenes. But I think to have a WrestleMania in Hollywood, for The Rock to be, I mean, clearly healthy, I mean, just absolutely jacked to the gills, Roman to be in the middle of this bloodline story, and for these pieces to not be able to fall into place, I think is very disappointing. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. So yeah, it's true he is busy, but I have to imagine that they approached him well in advance. But as you said, maybe it's just a case of, well, I cannot tell you like 3 years out. I cannot tell you what options I will have on the table at the time, or how important like the film projects I've got given to me are going to be. Like, I don't know, like it's tricky, isn't it? It's really tricky. It's really, really tricky. Because I can see both sides. WWE surely reached out to him, and The Rock would surely want to do it. But equally, if you've got something like Black Adam that's on the table, or Black Adam 2, like, you know, and you're part of that universe, Like, that is going to be it's not just a case of it being a one-off film. You know, maybe if it was a one-off film and it looked like a good part, maybe you'd just be like, is there any way we can push filming back? Or maybe you bite the bullet, you just can't do it, you know? Lo and behold, maybe we have to prioritize wrestling. Maybe we have to prioritize WrestleMania. Sorry. But, you know, maybe it's just not as simple as that. Maybe it's not as simple as that, you know? If it's something, as I said, like part of this massive movie franchise, I think DC, isn't it, Black Adam? Then maybe, you know, you just can't. It's not how the world works. I thought you was Uncle Howdy, said Ethan. No. Do you think we'll see The Rock wrestle again? I think so. I would find it hard to believe that that's it he's done. Unless he picks up, unless he knows that his body is done. I would imagine he would want one more, you know. I think Triple H said it really well. He went to this banquet, and on the wall was all WWE pictures, but they were high definition pictures, like big, blown up, but you could see all the detail. And he was looking at this one picture, and it was The Rock standing over him, right, about to do the people's elbow. And he took a picture of it because all over The Rock's body was goosebumps. All over his body. This picture was like super high def. And apparently Triple H tells this story that he took a picture of the picture, immediately sent it to The Rock, and was like, you can't tell me that you're getting this in Hollywood. You can't tell me that you're getting goosebumps all over your body, like when you're filming like a film. And I think The Rock came back and went, you know I'm not brother, or something like this, right? And you know, Triple H is making the point that this is a form of entertainment that, you know, if you've done it and it's in your blood and you've been on the road with the boys, it's like a drug. You just can't. It's so hard to give up. That's why we see Ric Flair just keeps going. That's why Jerry Lawler keeps going. That's why The Undertaker kept going when he should have stopped. And now he has. But I mean, he's had to, you know, he's had some stinkers towards the end of his career, unfortunately. But he knows that his body just can't do it. Triple H did it until the wheels fell off. Literally, like, he had to have a heart attack and a defibrillator installed for him to go, do you know what, I probably should stop. It's like a drug now. I think The Rock has been able to come off the wrestling drug and get the acting bug instead. But I don't think it ever leaves you. And I think The Rock would love to get back in there. You know, I mean, oh God, think about it. If you're a part of an American football team and you run out in a stadium of people, right? What a reaction. But there's how many people? I don't know how many people are on a team, to be honest. But there's how many people on the pitch, right? Like, I'm sure, like, there's occasions if you're, say, Messi, right, and everyone's there to see you, right, that it feels like it's all for you. But that can't feel quite the same for, like, the other players, right? If you was in Argentina, right, sides, and you was playing football, and you're looking around and all you're seeing is banners for Messi. Do you know what I mean? Like, it probably doesn't feel maybe the same as the experiences that Messi is having. But the point I'm making is that if you have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania and you walk out in front of 80,000 people and there's only 2 people for them to focus on, what other sport is doing that? What other sport is doing that? What other sport is getting 80,000 people to turn up to watch 2 people compete against each other at something? Like, I don't know that I can think of one. I mean, you obviously have UFC, but they don't tend to do stadiums. They have, but it's very rare. Very, very rare. And yeah, I mean, it's very rare. Simple as that. Other than that, I don't know tennis, but they do 20-odd thousand stadiums. So tennis would be comparable, but much smaller. Tennis ain't doing 80,000 stadiums unless there's some crazy thing going on that I'm not aware of. Golf, you're sort of on your own, but you walk along a course where you ain't got 80-odd thousand sat there at any one point, have you? When you get to the final hole, then there are some stands, but that still ain't 80,000. I don't know what it would be, but it's still in 80,000. Added up across the whole course, I'm sure it's a significant number. But it ain't going to be the same, is it? It's not the same as walking out at WrestleMania. That noise of 80-odd thousand being there just for you, just for The Rock in that moment. You ain't getting that anywhere else. You ain't getting that anywhere else. So I think he'll wrestle again. I think that's too hard to give up. Do you know, it's a shame if you think about it, because like that's an experience that I think everyone should have at least once in their lives. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame that we can't all experience that. Wouldn't it be amazing if like there was a place you could go where there was 80,000 people that were paid to just cheer you when you walked out, and that's what you did basically. So basically, there's a stadium. It's always got 80,000 people in it. They're all paid every day to turn up. And you pay X amount of money to get that feeling of like walking down the ramp towards the ring. Once you get to the ring, that's it. Your experience is over. But you get to walk out, pose on the stage as 80,000 are chanting your name, going crazy. And you're just like, oh, and you just get that taste of what it's like. I wonder if financially that would work. I wonder if there's a way of making that work. For someone like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, those kind of, you know what I mean, those rich footballers, like sports stars, if they were paying the big bucks, there might be a viable business model there. Man, could you imagine? That'd be sick. Imagine that. If that was affordable as well. $100, you get to go to a stadium and walk out in front of 80-odd thousand. They cheer your name, right? You get like, I don't know, 15 minutes, and then obviously that's it. Your go's over, and it's the next person. And if you, maybe you join the crowd then, I don't know, but like, and that's all it is. It's literally a stadium that just day after day does that. Man, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. Right, guys, I'm not going to do this streaming stuff anymore. We're going to shut this down. I'm going to open up my my new business model. Equivalent to being a rock star at a huge concert, said James. That's, I suppose, a very good comparison, because rock stars do big stadiums, don't they? They do. I mean, Wembley has hosted people, and that's going to be 80-odd thousand. So, yeah. Moving away from sports, going into entertainment, Rockstars is a fantastic comparison. Again, look at Rockstars. I mean, you wouldn't give it up if you didn't have to, would you? You know, the Rolling Stones, for example, still going. You know, Elton John has, I think, called it quits now, but I think, you know, fair play. He's in his 70s or something. Like, I think he's had a lifetime of those experiences. Paul McCartney's still going, Bruce Springsteen's still going, Billy Joel's still going, like all these people. Just, if you didn't have to stop, and Madonna's still going. If you didn't have to stop, you just wouldn't, because that feeling of walking out and having that admiration from so many people must just be like nothing else. Must be mental. Must really mess with your head, actually. I could imagine it messing with your head. It's just not normal, is it? I mean, clearly it's not normal. But, like, I should imagine the pressure. I do think that sometimes, actually. You know when someone gets a big pop, like, say, Sami in Montreal. I was watching Sami as he came down to the ring. And he got in the ring. And the crowds were going bananas, right? And I was watching Sami, and I was thinking, if I was in Sami's situation then, I would feel such a urge to do something. Like, do you know what I mean? I'd feel like I need to reward the people for the love that they were showing. But what would you do? What can you do? Right? Ain't gonna start juggling or anything. So, like, I was watching what he was doing, and I was like, how is he? And he was, you know, at one point he looked quite angry, actually. It's really interesting to just watch Sami as he accepts the admiration of the crowd. And just, like, what does he do? At one point, like, he looked kind of angry. Not at the fans. Just, he looked like he was getting in a zone, you know? And then, obviously, at times, he'd get fired up. Sometimes he was leaning over the ropes. Sometimes he was walking around, like, looking at all the fans, just taking it in. Do you know what I mean? But it is crazy, isn't it? Because you've got people going mental And literally, the guy's done nothing. All he's done is walk out there. He's walked out, walked to a ring, and that's it. Stood in the ring. I mean, like, that's all he's done. And people are just going bananas, right? Because obviously they're showing their love for what has come before and what's about to happen. But yeah, it's just crazy. Just watching him do that and just thinking, wow, like, that must mess with your head. Must mess with your head. I like that, James. Really good comparison. I did see someone saying that I missed a super chat. If you've been watching this channel, you'll know that that is absolutely possible. More than possible. I would actually class it as likely. So if I did miss a super chat, feel free to just put it in, let me know, and I'll try and get to it. We got 14 minutes to go. Alexa Bliss Gamer said, I'm sorry I missed the member stream. I could have talked about Alexa Bliss. Yeah, good member stream. Really enjoyed it. We do that every 2 weeks now, where we get your clips, your questions, your videos, and we answer them, right? If we get nothing, we get nothing. If we get 10, we get 10. If we get 20, we get 20, whatever. I don't care, right? Because there's always stuff to talk about anyway. But I really love that the opportunity is there, because on these streams, it's me going blah, 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 blah. Yeah, obviously. Because if I just sat here quiet, it'd be a bit dull. So I really like the idea of throwing it back over. Now, obviously, if we was to do that on these streams with the amount of people that join us, I'm guessing we would be inundated and it wouldn't be manageable, right? But on a members one, where obviously the numbers are a bit lower, it's a lot more manageable. So, yeah, it's good. We'll look to do that every couple of weeks. Maggie said, I've acknowledged my tribal chief since Moses was a boy. Firefly Funhouse is back. Yes. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, tomorrow, said it's your boy Mason. It's Sunday, I believe. Sunday. So tomorrow we're doing UFC, but I'll tell you now, because it is Jake Paul this weekend, we're not able to do all of the UFC because I haven't had a chance to look into and research all of the UFC. So we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do UFC and we're going to do the main show. We're going to do like the hour just before, like the kind of top of the prelims. So we're going to do the top of the prelims and the main cards. So we're going to do that tomorrow. My focus this weekend is Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. That's my focus. And I've done tons of research. I've got pages of notes and we're ready for that stream. So that if you are around, if you are going to be watching that, I know there's loads of watch-alongs. I saw that like Bisping's doing one. I think True Geordie's doing one. Like the world's watching this fight. So no surprises whatsoever. But if you are around and you fancy popping in, sharing your thoughts, then feel free, of course, to do that. Should be great. I mean, I'm so looking forward to that fight. I'm so looking forward to it because like it is a difficult one to call. I've seen people that are adamant that Jake's winning. I've seen people adamant that Tommy's winning. And I've seen people down the middle as well saying could go either way, could even be a draw. People saying that it might already be decided as a draw. Like kind of it's, you know, we're in Saudi Arabia. There's been a few question marks about Jake's previous fights. I don't think they are fixed, by the way, right? I don't want anyone going, oh, is he suggesting they're fixed? I don't think they are. But we all know that those suggestions have been made, right? So I am leaning Jake winning. I'm leaning Jake winning. But I do also think Tommy is better than people are giving him credit for. I think Tommy's had a few bad performances. But actual wrestling ability, boxing ability, he has got a better jab than what Jake Paul does. He's got better movement than what Jake Paul does. He's got more output than what Jake Paul does, right? These are things that are pretty much fact, okay? Jake, though, has got great heart. He's got experience at like being in main events and high pressure situations. We don't know how Tommy's going to deal with that. And Jake also has got great cardio. We saw him go 8 rounds with Anderson Silva, and he was fresh at the end of that. Jake's cardio, he has really been working that and drilling that. You know that for the whole fight, Jake's going to be in there right till the last bell. So, you know, there's a few different ways, and he seems confident as well as always that he knows where the chinks are in Tommy's arsenal. I'm just thinking, and we're not going to dwell on this too much, but I'm just thinking that one of the things that Tommy does is he leaves himself open to the right hand, right? So when he throws a shot, he'll like sometimes expose the other side, and he can, you know, when throwing a right hand, he can leave this open here. If Jake picks up on that, and I'm almost certain he has, of course, then the big right hand of Jake Paul, which, you know, has put people down, put Tyron Woodley down, that should be there for him. That should be there for him. And I think that Tommy is going to present openings to Jake. So as much as I think Tommy could win on points, as much as I think Tommy's combos are going to be a problem for Jake, I think that Jake's right hand counter shot ability, just like as soon as Tommy throws and he leaves the side of his face open, bang. If Jake comes in with that and connects, I've seen him put down Askren. I've seen him put down Nate Robinson for whatever that's worth. I've seen him put down Woodley. I've seen him towards the end of the Anderson fight put down Anderson Silva. This is a very different test because this is a young man, a bigger man, right? You know, so it's a very different test, of course. But all I'm saying is that Jake should have success at points in this fight. And is that going to be enough for him to win the fight? Gonna have to find out, aren't we? Gonna have to find out. I think it's a very interesting fight. I think the fact that people can't quite read it, don't quite know which way it's going, because Tommy's looked so bad in these recent fights. You know, you can say, oh, Tommy's a boxer. He's been training his whole life. Brilliant. But it hasn't shown itself when the bell rings. When the bell rings in Tommy's fights, he looks awful, right? So it's all lip service, isn't it? Oh, he's part of the Fury family. He's trained with heavyweights. He's done this. He's done that. I don't care. When the bell rings, he looks awful. So I still think he's better than what people are saying, right? I still think he's better. I don't think he's a complete bum. I don't think he's got no boxing skill. He does. He's not a bum. He does have boxing skill. And he's got a few good attributes about him. But he is, I would say, the right level right now for Jake, to the point where could go either way. So I'm probably just leaning Jake, to be honest. I'm leaning Jake. And honestly, if Tommy just absolutely starches him, I have no problem with people ripping it out of me, right? No problem whatsoever. Because I would love Tommy to win, to be honest. I'd love for Tommy to do it. So if Tommy wins, I'll be over the moon. But I just can't say that I've seen anything. He took on Anthony Taylor, right? Who is not even a boxer. And went 4 rounds and looked rubbish when he did it. Now, he claims he did that on purpose to, you know, make it throw people off, right? Is that true? I don't know. I don't know. Do I? Did he do it? Is it part of a master plan? I don't know. But I couldn't feel confident that it is. I couldn't part my money with it or anything, you know? Did you see that King and the Queen of Ring and Backlash is returning? Hello, James. I didn't see Backlash, but I did see about King and Queen of the Ring. They've got to change that name, though. They can't call it King and Queen of the Ring, can they? WWE King and Queen of the Ring. There must be a better... I'm thinking something to do with coronation. WWE. Something coronation. Carnagation. Carnagation. Maybe King and Queen of the Ring's all right now I think about it. No, I just find that's a bit wordy to me. You know, like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. King and Queen of the Ring. That's got to be... Do you know, now I think about it, it's like 2 words, isn't it? WrestleMania, which we class as one. Royal Rumble, Summer Slam, Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber, King and Queen of the Ring. What is the best signature taunt of all time? I wish Bayley would take a page out of Velvet Sky's book when she enters the ring. I don't know how Velvet Sky enters the ring. She's one of them impactors, isn't she? Not my thing. Was she one of the beautiful people? I heard of them. I think I was one of them. Is being a member age restricted? Said Aoife. I don't believe so. Don't believe so. There's no like hardcore adult content that we're putting out for members. Trust me, Austin was super disappointed. So no, it shouldn't be. How long we got? 4 minutes. 4-minute warning. When does Jake fight Nate Diaz? Next, apparently. That's this year. He's interested in fighting Tommy Fury, Nate Diaz, KSI at the end of the year. Who do you think will win? Bobby versus Bray? I would imagine it would be Bray. I'd be surprised if they put Bobby over Bray. Bray is meant to be the number one babyface on SmackDown. You could make an argument for Sami, obviously. But we keep saying Sami was not meant to get as over as what he got. And so it was reported that Bray is listed internally as the number one babyface over on SmackDown. So yeah, it's an interesting match because obviously Bray's on SmackDown, Bobby is on Raw. It's like the brand split doesn't mean anything. But I would have to think they'd go with Bray. You know, it was a massive return at the end of last year. Bobby is at his kind of title runs, not really doing a great deal at the moment. I think he could lose this feud to Bray and he'll be all right with that. That'd be all right. Well, he might not be all right with it, but his character would survive it, I would think. Have you got a favorite NXT takeover? No, but you know what's crazy about NXT takeover, and I don't feel this way about it now. But I remember when I first got the network in 2015, because it didn't come to the UK till 2015. I think you had it 2014 in America, but we had to wait. And when we finally got it, I remember watching the takeovers. So I watched the ones that I'd missed, and I watched, obviously, the ones going forwards. And it was this very weird feeling of everyone just seemed to be getting better than the last one. Like, you watched it and you was like, that was an incredible show. And then you'd like go to the next one. You'd be like, I think this one was better, you know? They just had so many great tag teams and, you know, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, the Four Horsewomen, Asuka coming in around that time. Like, a lot of the names that you see now, but basically down in NXT, being booked by Triple H when we didn't quite know them as well. Like, you know, they're a lot of characters now. You've got an impression of them because of everything they've been through. Imagine not having that and them being in NXT and being fresh and new, and it's Kevin Owens and it's Finn Balor and it's Asuka and it's the FTR and it's American Alpha, it's all this kind of stuff. There's like a 2-year period, I would say, from, well, probably even longer, to be honest, where the takeovers just seem to be getting better and better and better and better. I mean, the one that I think, if you was to ask most people what the best is, they might say there was one in New York, wasn't there? That people love, which I think was the Johnny Gargano Adam Cole main event. Might be like the 20th takeover. It's kind of around that time. But I remember there being one in New York that people go crazy about. But the most iconic has got to be Brooklyn. It's got to be Brooklyn. I think that's the first time that we ever go into an arena. And it's the Sasha Bayley match, which is just incredible. Oh, and Sammy Roman 4.75 from Meltzer, which I don't have a problem with, to be honest. I watched it and I said, if anyone told me that was 5 stars, I would not have an argument. I wouldn't complain. And had it been 5 stars, I wouldn't have complained. 4.75, I can go with it. there was a lot of stuff going on at the end, which you might look at and go, did it need all of that? So, you know, you might look at it and think along those lines. So 475, 5 stars. No issue in that. Had it have been 4 stars or 425, then I would have been upset. But 475, no. I mean, that is the same score as Shawn, Undertaker, WrestleMania 25, which I think is, honestly, I think is fair. That's my favorite match. But I mean, this match was just, the atmosphere is, I don't know if it is the best atmosphere I've ever seen. One Night Stand was special. And there's been, you know, incredible crowd reactions, of course, but this was special. And we're starting with it, actually. Showing us highlights of it. Wrestling fan, namaste. Shout out to you, my friends. Namaste. Sami video package. If it's guys video, dig what I'm saying. It does take time. NXT TakeOver Portland was amazing, said Tommy. We want Bailey. Just want to see if I'm up to speed with these. They used to be must see. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate the recent one or anything. I can't remember what I scored it actually. But I like Wesley Dijak, and the cage match was all right. I like, you know, Braun Grayson, that was all right. Tag teams were all right. I mean, it was fine. It was good, but it didn't hit the same as it did back in like 2015, 2016. Like, that was just incredible. But think about the change we've gone through. I mean, they were booked by Triple H. Do you know what I mean? They were booked by Triple H. They had loads of indie talent on that had been doing it for years. You know, now it's booked by Shawn, which is going to be different. And also, we don't use as much indie talent now. We bring athletes in and we train them to become WWE superstars, which I must admit is working a lot better than I expected. But the downside is it takes a long time to get there. So, you know, the early stages, pretty rough going, to be honest. But once they get it, and once they've done it for a while, and, you know, they've, you know, got into their characters, and they've got it, basically, then, I mean, clearly they're just going to be as good then as people coming off the indies. Right, we are seeing Sami talking to Kevin Owens. If you're feeling lonely today, throw your cares away, said Moolah. We're really glad that you're our friend. This is a friendship that will never end. Right, let me quickly go through some of these awards whilst we're waiting. Best Weekly TV Show, AEW Dynamite, of course. Promotion of the AEW, Stardom was second, WWE were thirds. This is Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards, by the way. Best on Interviews, MJF. Then John Moxley, which I find surprising. CM Punk, Sami Zayn, Eddie Kingston. Tag Team of the Year, FTR. Then the Briscoes. Then the Young Bucks. Then the Usos. I feel like the Usos are a bit too low down. Then the Acclaimed. But FTR, I don't think there'd be any complaints with that. Most Outstanding Wrestler, Will Ospreay. Hello. Jimmy Uso. A lot of questions around the bloodline. He's not spoke with his brother. Text him. Called him. Okay. So he said, I've texted him and told him to meet me in the middle of that ring, get off his chest, whatever he needs to get off his chest. Interesting. Feels like we're going to be getting that then. Here is the hunt for Jay is on. Okay, so this was announced before the show, and it's going to be Braun, Ricochet, and Madcap taking on Imperium. Tell you what, man, Friday nights with the Imperium boys. Brilliant. Hey, do you know who loves Imperium? Everyone. And Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes loves Imperium. He did an interview. I don't know if do you know what? I need to watch this guy more. I like him. You know that My Mum's Basement barstool guy? I've seen him do a couple of things, but he's not really on my radar. But I saw he did an interview with Cody, and I was like, I'll check this out. Checked it out. Really enjoyed it. And I did tell that story actually on the member stream, but they even Cody mentions the couple of books that they give to wrestlers to learn acting, right? Which I thought was fascinating. So he actually mentions the two books. He's like, he talks about training, and he was like, yeah, we do this, we do that. We tell them to read such and such and read such and such, which are like acting books. I thought it was fascinating that he actually mentions the name of the books. I know people will be like, what are the books? One is Fine on Acting by Howard Fine. That's one of them. Fine on Acting by Howard Fine, which I did look on the internet for, and you can get, but they're quite expensive. And I actually bought the other one. It hasn't arrived yet. I did say on the members thing we could have a look at it on there. I'll see if I can find it. Let me just go in my purchase history. It is Uta Hagen. Uta Hagen, who should be in Imperium by the sounds of it. A challenge for the actor. A challenge for the actor by Uta Hagen. Could you imagine Gunter against Uta Hagen at WrestleMania? Dream match. Gunter is out there. So there we go. If you want to know the books that wrestlers are told to read in the Nightmare Factory, I should imagine they give them How to Hug Properly by Tony Khan as well. Hold Me and Never Let Go, the Tony Khan autobiography. Unbiased Journalism by Tony Khan. And ever got a lol? Lol. Don't even know that worked, did it? Oh, the sound was turned down. I'll do it again. Lol. There we go. We're back, baby. We are back. E-Fleur, shout out to you, my friends. Feel free to send through like audio clips or anything, E-Fleur, and we'll put them into the members thing. I've said send through audio clips or video clips no longer than a minute. Should be able to get your points across in a minute. But I just never know how many we're getting, to be honest. So we do a member stream every couple of weeks. But yeah, I want to really encourage people sending them through. And they can send them through at any time. Send them to wrestlingdays@gmail.com. In the title, just put member stream. That's all I ask. Put member stream as the title. Because then I can go into my emails, search member stream, and they're all there, aren't they? If I've got to go through my emails trying to find them, that's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare factory. That's what that's going to be. So it'd be better if we do it that way. Gosh, I mean, always thinking. Right, we are underway. Tony loves Ariel, a love story, said Maggie. How to Not Answer Questions by Tony Khan. Shot comes in by Bartel. Tell you what, the crowd are loud. They're having a lovely time. Imperium slowing it down. It's not his name, is it, Bartel? His name's Ludwig Kaiser. You'd think I'd have that locked down by now, but... Days, who is WWE's best power couple? Nikki Cross and Michael Cole, or Wobbly Walrus and Brandy Rhodes? What is their power couple? See, if ever I think about a couple in WWE, Macho and Elizabeth is always my first thought. It's always my first thought. But it's got to be Steph and Triple H, hasn't it? That should probably be my first thought, but I grew up in an earlier era when Triple H wasn't even around. And so to me, I always think, if I think of couples in WWE, I don't think Steph and Triple H. Weird, innit? And I don't think Vince and Linda. I always think Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth first. It's always the first couple, I think. And then my brain goes, Steph and Triple H. I go, oh yeah. Thanks, brain. Thanks, brain. Nikki Cross and Michael Cole, though. I hope we do explore that a little bit. We are at commercial break, by the way. Emma and Madcap are right up there. Emma, I love you. Yeah. It's not, oh, man, they could do that. They could make Emma out to be a bit like Miss Elizabeth-esque. Do you know what I mean? Have her come down looking worried at ringsides. Oh, we should do that. Let's try and make Emma like Miss Elizabeth. Not full-blown, like, you know, everything looks exactly the same. Just sort of lean into the kind of sweet, innocent, looking concerned at ringsides kind of a vibe, you know? Having to run to the back to get some help. Yeah, we could do that. When was the last time we did that, actually? When was the last time that we had a sweet, innocent female valet? I don't know. In my head, I'm going Zelina Vega, but no, she wasn't sweet and innocent, was she? It wasn't Zelina Vega. Miss Maurice. Miss Emma. Oh, Miss Emma's nice, isn't it? Miss Emma's nice. Miss Emma? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Becky and Seth power couple. Elizabeth. Do you think Becky and Lita will take the titles? I tell you, that's pretty big, innit, on Monday? That's pretty big. I felt like that was the biggest talking point from Monday's show. I must say, I thought Raw was all right, but maybe just lacked a few, like, you know, this is the road to WrestleMania. We're 30-odd days out. Like, if you're going to be dropping some big nuclear bombs of, like, you know, swerves and whatever, well, you know, this is now, please. And I just kind of felt like Monday's show was a bit like, it's all right. I don't think it had the big, whoa, didn't see that coming. Wow, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Saying that, though, well, we've live streamed so many roads to WrestleMania, and normally they're nowhere near as good as what we build them up. In all fairness, in our minds, we're like, oh, it's WrestleMania season. It's going to be twists and turns, and it's going to be pitfalls, and this person's coming back, and that person's going to come back. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Normally, it's around about 5% of that. Whatever you've got pictured and planned, it's normally about 5% of it that we actually get. So, yeah, but that's a pretty big one, in all fairness. Like, I could see them winning those tag belts. Certainly if the plan at WrestleMania is to do like a 6-woman tag match, you could do a tag title match, change the belts, do the rematch. They don't get the belts back. That means you can't have a third go. So at WrestleMania, we end up doing the 6-woman. And then, you know, after WrestleMania, you, I don't know, drop them back or whatever. I don't know if you drop them back straight away, to be honest. But I did make this point, I think, on Monday. Like, you could. I understand Damage Control getting the belts, losing them, getting them back, losing them, getting them back. Like, it's annoying, but they would then be a 3-time women's tag team champions. Like, you can only be 3-time tag team champs if you lose the belts, twice before? So you've got to lose them to get to that sort of an accolade, you know? I mean, already they're, I think, 2-time. So do it again, 3-time. Like, it just starts sounding, pretty good, doesn't it? I mean, Charlotte Flair's got a shirt out now, 14-time women's world champion. Well, you can only do that if you lose it 13 times. So, yeah, I don't know. It's different ways of looking at it. Maybe you wouldn't go straight back to Damage Control. Perhaps you'd probably circle it around a few other people. I've heard rumors, people thinking that Ronda and Shayna could be in the hunt for those tag belts. So if that is the plan, putting the belts onto Becky and Lita and doing Becky Lita versus Ronda Shayna, maybe doing that at WrestleMania Backlash, probably makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So yeah, I don't think that match is a foregone conclusion in the sense of it's just to bump ratings on Monday. I could see an argument for actually doing it. I could see an argument for changing the titles over to Becky and Lita. Will they do it though? I'm not Triple H. This is my new go-to answer. Triple T told me this on the Wrestling Escape Pods. He said, just start using that line. I'm not Triple H. It's good if you think about it. I'm not Triple H. I don't get to decide. Shoulder tackle by Braun. Into the corner. Braun colliding into Imperium. Braun staring at Gunther. Going over to Gunther. Gunther grabbing a hold of that tag rope. Braun shoving Giovanni over the top rope. Giovanni Vinci over the top rope. Now we've got Gunther in. Chop coming in there by Gunther. These two chopping away at each other. Gunther and Braun. Kicks coming in. Grabs the big man. Tell you what, Braun is so big. I mean, he's way bigger than Gunther. Drop kick. I say way bigger. Maybe not way bigger. He's just taller, wider, more muscular. He's just got him beat everywhere. Shoulder tackle to the midsection. I saw, I don't know why I saw it, but I saw Gunther's debut. It's there in person. But I saw his debut again. Man, he looked so much better before. Like, I love him now. I love him anyway. But when he had, when he looked like the fat kid out of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and he had a bit of timber around his, everywhere, he looked so imposing. This change has been really impressive and is on an incredible run, and he is an incredible superstar. I've just never been bothered if people have been fat. It's never bothered me. Probably because when I started watching wrestling, lots of people were fat. Lots of people. Do you know what I mean? Like Earthquake, Typhoon, Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow, Yokozuna. All of these people were big. Even Bertha Faye in the women's division, she was a big girl. I mean, I can't say she wasn't. She was. Big girl. Bull Nakano had a bit of timber to her. So, yeah, this, you've got to be slimmed down and all of that. I don't know. I feel like you lose something. Seeing him, I mean, when he came out, and honestly, he was, he looked like a beast. I think if you're going to go down the muscular road, you've got to really, tone up, ain't you? Drew and Viking Raiders have come out. So Viking Raiders are beating up on Drew. But Drew and Sheamus have come out, and they're dealing with the Viking Raiders. These two pushing each other around. getting fired up. Right, so it's all carnage. Dun, dun, dun. So we got Braun, we got... where's Madcap? Where did Madcap go? Did I miss Madcap? Where did Madcap go? Mitchell said, Days, if Gunther is Augustus, then what other WWE characters found the golden tickets? I don't know, because I don't know there. He's definitely Augustus, though, isn't he? Well, not anymore. Is Ray and Santos. There's one thing that Legado values, and that's respect. I want to show the WWE Universe how much I respect you. It's a mutual feeling, said Ray. Yay! So, Santos. So, Santos showed respect to Ray. Yeah. Yeah. In prison, those that didn't back up with what they said got dealt with. Dominic's killing it. Don't let that bother you. That's my son. Failed him, Ray. You failed him. Dom said those that didn't back up what they say. Got in big trouble. Ex-con Dom is a punk. Dom is a joke, said Chester. Dom's done less hard time than my wife. Soft, said Chris. I thought Legado were heels. They were. I think that I can't tell if they're trying to turn Santos face or if it's a trap and he's trying to win Ray over and then he's going to turn on him and proclaim himself to be the best lucha and whatever, right? But they were heels and there's been no sign of a face turn since they come to the main roster until now. So, don't know. Hard to know. Is he genuinely trying to show respect to Ray or is he trying to lure him in and then he's going to turn on him and that's going to be Ray's next feuds? I'm not sure. Not sure. Don't forget other overweight wrestlers like King Kong Bundy, Adrian Adonis, Abdullah the Butcher, Mabel, Andre the Giant, Haystacks Calhoun, Mick Foley. Yeah, I don't know quite why it changed, to be honest. I mean, I know that Vader and Yokozuna were sent to lose weight because, I mean, we probably don't see it, right? But if you was to work with them and you was to see that they were gassing after like 5 minutes, right? And they just can't do the job, basically, right? They just can't do it because they're too big. Carrying too much weight, their conditioning is affected, their cardio is affected. I can totally understand why WWE would be like, you need to lose that weight. You're carrying around all that weight, hence why you're getting gassed out. You need to lose it. I can understand that. But I don't know that has always been the case for every big guy. I mean, it is possible. I mean, look at Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is one of the best technical boxers in the world. And can go 12 rounds easily 12 rounds of constant boxing and whatever, right? He looks like he's been melted in a microwave. Like, if you look at his physique, he is not Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua just shredded, right? Tyson Fury is not that, but as he said many, many times, you don't muscles, having like these big muscles, it doesn't do anything. That doesn't help with your technique of being a boxer. Muscles, if anything, can be a bit of a downside because you've got to carry that weight, that muscle. You've got to carry that throughout the fight. I would argue that he's having to carry the bit of timber that he's got throughout the fight as well, but it doesn't seem to be a problem for him. But I don't know when it changed. I don't know, I don't know why Gunther and how he looked when he came in when he was Volta, why that was a problem and why they have changed it over. This version of him is still fine. This version of him is still fantastic, I do think he's just lost a little something, though, a little bit of that imposing factor that he had. But all she sees people praising him. So it's really not an issue. It was more an observation. That's probably the best way to word it. Right, here's Solo and Jimmy. We are back. Mitchell said, Miz as Mike TV, Sami as Charlie Bucket. Sami as Charlie Bucket, I really like that. I can't remember them all, to be honest. Obviously, I remember Charlie Bucket. Chelsea Green as Veruca Salt, Dana Brooke or Bailey as Violet, and Gunther as Augustus. I don't know some of them. Here's Paul. You handle Jay. Face to face. Man to man. Twin to twin. Uso. Uso to Uso. LA Knight. So, Jimmy said that it feels different. And Paul Heyman says, well, listen, go to the ring. Me and Solo will stay here. You deal with this Uso to Uso. Feels like a big segment that's coming up, doesn't it? LA Knight. LA Knight making his way down to the ring. Yeah. Let me talk to you. Yeah. Yeah, so love Sami as Charlie Bucket. Miz as Mike TV. I just can't remember that one. Chelsea Green as Veruca Salt. She was the girl. Makes sense. Dana Brooke or Bailey as Violet. Don't know that one. And Gunther as Augustus. Might not work as well now, to be honest, but it did work back in the day. Yeah! Let me talk to you. Talk away. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. I just want to have a WrestleMania moment. He came to make money and win titles. Here's a twist. You can't have an LA WrestleMania without LA Knight. That's good, that is. He said, I'm not going to get a WrestleMania moment. I'm going to give WrestleMania an LA Knight moment. Here's Kofi. Xavier. The New Day. New Day. Bray's downward spiral from Vince bothered me the most. He was megastar potential, said Austin. Who are you to be demanding anything? Who are you to be demanding anything, says Kofi. The Nerd Day. You're looking at a perpetual motion machine? Hey, no. Yeah. Yeah. Being nerds has made us a hell of a lot of money, said Xavier. WrestleMania moments are not just handed out, they are earned. Case in point, Kofi Kingston. I don't care about your path. I'm a creator. How did that Kofi Mania thing work out for you? Kofi steps to the ring. Well, Kofi said, I would say it worked out pretty well. I won the WWE Championship on the grandest stage of them all. I mean, it's a good point, isn't it? It's a good point. Yeah. Kofi was amazing. That was 4 years ago. New Day Rocks. Got New Day Rocks chants. Is he done? Yeah. Are you challenging me? Yeah. Okay, so Kofi and LA Knight, apparently. Yeah. So, Kofi versus LA Knight. LA Knight is so underrated. Yeah. Right, we've still not had Firefly Funhouse, but then saying that we are only, 35 minutes into the show. Adam Pearce is terrible. He's apparently never had to book matches. The wrestlers just book their own. At least we got LA Knight, said Wisp. If they gave him a better chair, Kofi would have lasted longer in the Rumble. But lasted 8 seconds. He lost to Brock, yes. Kofi LA should be fun, said Rory. Tickets are now on sale for Friday Night Smackdown at the O2 and Money in the Bank. Apparently it's sold out in a minute, is what I heard. Tickets that are left are like premium stuff, like weird things. I don't know, packages or whatever. Like apparently all the normal tickets that went on sale were done in a minute. Don't know how true that is, but it's the word on the street. Not a bad way to get LA back on his feet again, said LS Dub. LA Kofi feud would look good. Xavier just being Kofi's hype man sucks, says Mitchell. I saw the tickets in US dollars were about $8.90. Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah, we spoke about this actually the other day, though. I don't know how bad that is. Like, I couldn't compare that because what do I compare it to? When was the last time we had a major premium live event in the UK that was in an arena like this, you know? I mean, the one to compare it to would be Clash, but Clash is in a stadium. So you probably don't need to charge as much because there's more people, there's more tickets, so you can spread the cost. So like, but then saying that, the cost of hiring a stadium is probably higher than hiring the O2 as well. So maybe it's all relative. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Are we being ripped off? I don't know. How does it compare to the prices that Montreal just paid for Elimination Chamber? That would be interesting. That'd be really interesting. What was the average ticket price? How much were tickets for Elimination Chamber? And then we can compare that to Money in the Bank. And then we'll know if we're being ripped off. Not that I'm bothered, because I'm not going. But I feel for some of you, because I know many of you have either got tickets or tried. Some have succeeded, some have failed, but it was very hard to get, apparently. Depends on the stadium and the arena, said Dragon Den. Knight Rider said, I'd be A-Town down for LA Knight and Stone Colds at WrestleMania. Linda said, the tickets are blown up. Bill said, Roman is going to win at WrestleMania and Bray will get his rematch. Greg said, ticket prices are disgusting. They're not for the regular guy. I think we can all agree WrestleMania is going to be the show of champions. The show of champions. The show of shows. The grandest stage of them all. Right, LA Knight versus Kofi Kingston. That's where we are right now. New Day Rocks. Everything WWE is going to be inflated. They're trying to sell the company. They have to show record-breaking numbers, said Mitchell. David said, I'm not going to the Money in the Bank. I'm going to watch it on TV. Dylan said, maybe we could get Dominic and Carrion against Santos and Ray. Theories overall is a crime, said Opposite Dre on 2K23. Matt said, Days, how are you doing? I'm doing good, thank you. How is your dog? Fat. She is fat. But she's fine. She doesn't really do anything. She's just there. She's just fat and there. A bit like how Gunther used to be. LA runs the ropes very smooth, says Michael. The Howdy glitched during and after the bloodline tells you he's coming for what he never lost, says Bill. DFS Chief said they don't get blizzards. Dead Man Talking, shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate it. To the outside goes Kofi, takes LA Knight's legs away from him. We got Kofi and Xavier. What are they doing? Yeah, it didn't really go to plan, did it? They were trying to do a little, like, gesture on the outside of the ring, and it just didn't really go to plan. They looked like a couple of girls. Looked like a couple of girls that had practiced some sort of little dance routine, and they didn't quite know it. And so, I mean, it was a bit clunky, and they were like, we'll do better next time. We'll do better next time. Forget that one. Forget that. I'll do it again. Forget that one. Days, is Bray Wyatt a heel or a face? I think it's a face. Because LA Knight is a heel. He's just feuded with LA Knight. Now he's looking to feud with Bobby. Bobby's a heel. Brock was the face in that feud. So whilst he's targeting heels, I think that has to position him as a face. Plus, I mean, he's over. People love him. People are excited for the Funhouse. It's not really, it's It's not really much to boo, is there? Unless you really don't like the Funhouse or don't like Bray. And there are plenty of those people, but no, I think he's the face. 2022 WWE is the worst promotion of the year. Yeah, I mean, that is with Wrestling Observer newsletter readers, though. You know what I mean? So, like, you are talking about a certain fan base, a certain opinion. I agree with some of the awards. I disagree with some of the other awards. I feel like it's probably the same for everyone, though. I would be surprised, and I'm sure there are people, but I would be surprised if the majority looked at the awards from Wrestling Observer and were like, I agree with every single one of those. Every single one. And all the top fives as well. People that were second and third, I agree with them all. Because normally, like, you know, there's going... For example, if you believe WWE is the worst promotion, you're probably not going to agree with WWE then also being voted as the third best promotion in the same awards. Do you know what I mean? But this is what you get when it's fan voted. And obviously, you know, they've got a diverse readership. So you do get quirky results. Kofi charging into LA Knight. Yeah. Again, colliding into him. Halftime scores coming up. 18 minutes. Yes. We've been witnessing Bray fighting his own demons on screen, said Knight Rider. I like Bray with the Wyatt family, but I hated Funhouse. For me, it was more Dunhouse. The Firefly Dunhouse. I like the Funhouse. I like the Funhouse. I like the breaking it apart. That's what I enjoyed. So I enjoyed what did he mean when he said this? Or what was that character a reference to? Or what was that quote a reference to? Or why, you know, like, why, I think we even said, like, why is there clearly a picture missing on the wall in the first episode? And then I think it was like the second episode came along and he's painting a picture. And it turns out then to be the burnt down compound where that Randy burnt down. And so you could like watch it, question things, and then sometimes like that you would get an answer. A lot of the times you didn't. One of the biggest questions was, you know, is it in his mind? Is it in like an abandoned mental asylum? Because there was some like mental asylum, mental hospital images that would flash up at times. And so did wonder like where he'd been as well, because there'd been some tweets at that time from a doctor to a patient. They came out around December of 2018. And then in 2019, we got the Funhouse. So these tweets of like, you know, day 57, patient still is struggling to come to terms with realizing that there is more than one persona and blah, 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 right? And these kinds of tweets went out in December, and then boom, in April, Firefly Funhouse. So, you know, you're piecing all this together, and like, I really liked all that. It felt deeper and richer than just the average story, the average promo. It had like, there was more meaning and stuff to it. So I enjoyed that side of it. But again, I think if you weren't engaged with that side, or even if you was, but you just weren't bothered, I can understand why people struggled with it. It's not crazy for me to hear people saying they didn't like the Funhouse, and I just can't fathom it. Like, I can clearly see why people would struggle with it. You tune in to watch wrestling. You tune in to watch two guys smashing into each other, beating each other up. Maybe you enjoy the bloods and all of that kind of stuff that you get in like from Moxley matches and everything. And then here's Bray with his puppets and everything. Like, that is quite far away, isn't it, from where I think a lot of people expect to be on a wrestling show. So I can totally understand why people wouldn't enjoy it. But I'm excited for tonight. So as I say, I just hope we get back to the good episodes rather than the stuff we were getting more towards the end. Right, we are back from commercial break. Back. To SmackDown, back from commercial break. Tonight has been what I expected. Not really a lot going on. Some okay matches. I hope the Jim E and Jay segment is killer. New Day rocks. New Day rocks. Kofi goes to the outsides. Xavier coming over, checking on him. So Kofi down on the outsides. Get him disqualified. Go ahead. Hit me right now. Let's see what happens. So he wants Xavier Woods to hit him. Do you like that? You could be next. So LA Knight getting back into the ring. Kofi slingshotted into the bottom rope. Who do you think is Uncle Howdy? Well, I think it's Bo, but I'm really come round to the idea that it doesn't matter. I've really started to come round to the idea that when it's not going to be revealed, and that's not the purpose of the character. It's a bit like saying, who do you think really is Kane? Who do you think's Kane? Well, it was Kane. Kane was Kane. There wasn't a masking, but the unmasking was only to reveal the scarring of the face. Yeah, he didn't take his mask off and everyone went, oh my God, Isaac Yankem? It's Glenn Jacobs? Like, I'm starting to come around to the idea that it's Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy is Uncle Howdy. And it's Bo that's playing the character, but I don't know that we're ever going to get the it was me all along type situation, you know? I think people in the chat have mentioned that before. That they've felt that it could go like that way, where it's just Uncle Howdy. The reason why I say that is because I think we've just had the Howdy story about him trying to get Bray to embrace, you know, the personas inside and, you know, not fight it anymore. And now Bray's done that. And so now that they're on the same page, would feel like the time where we would get that reveal. But we're moving on, to be honest. I mean, we're moving on. We're going into a different feud. We're apparently going to start a feud with Bobby Lashley. And so we're seemingly going in that direction now. Now, all of a sudden, it's not about Howdy. Howdy's just next to Bray, isn't he? He's just by his side. So that makes me think that we're just going to move on. Just moving on. Which, I must admit, I don't mind, actually. I really don't mind. One, two. Kick out by Kofi. I've said that all along. Revealing it would just take away credibility, said Max NUFC. What do you think happens with Jay tonight? Could he attack Sami, or Sami use the fat Roman sacrifice Jay to take the spear, said Dylan. Well, I don't know where we'll get to tonight. I mean, I feel like Jay is going to have to pick a side eventually. He's going to have to pick a side. I think he'll pick the Bloodline side. And Sami will, you know, obviously team up with Kevin Owens and we'll work our way towards the match. That's what I'm thinking. Now, whether that goes down tonight, I mean, not all of that, but could Jay pick a side tonight? Xavier with the trombone plays it right in the face of LA Knight. Trouble in Paradise connects by Kofi. 2, 3, and Kofi pins LA Knight. Kofi with the win, thanks to a bit of outside interference from Xavier Woods. So Kofi picking up the win. Wade Barrett said he thinks it's an absolute disgrace. LA Knight deserves a big push. She's great in ring, great attitudes era, would have been great in this era. Bray mentioned that segments aren't set in stone weekly, and it shows in the segments. It feels he has his story. Seems like it's changing weekly. Headline making moment. Match flow. We just got some bad news. What? You personally or on the show? Come on, Kofi is past LA Knight, could be the future. Kofi gets the win over LA Knight. I could see people being disappointed with that. And I could understand people being disappointed with that, to be honest. I think they'll stretch the Jey story out a wee bit longer to hype up the interest for Mania. Yeah, the only thing I was thinking was we've got, 30-odd days. So, how does that boil down to how many shows, right? So within that time, within X amount of segments, we need to get Jey to pick a side. We need to get Kevin back on side with Sami. And then we need the confrontation where Kevin and Sami confront the Usos, if that's where the story is going. So, I don't know. I don't think we can leave it too late, because it just feels like there's a few bits that we need to get sorted. And I mean, honestly, you need to book the match and then promote it. I mean, I don't think you want to book that match like on the go-homes. I think you want to get it like done a bit before that as well. So we might only be looking at a few weeks. Now, that's going to mean a few segments, and then we need to get it announced, and then, a few final touches as we approach the go-home. It's not that far away. Face-to-face live. Next. I feel like Bray's story derailed for the Pitch Black match. He tried to fit it into a gimmick instead of the gimmick being made to fit his story. So he now needs to reset it with the Firefly Funhouse. I think I don't. I mean, like, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, if you was to write down everything that had happened since Bray returned, right? I don't think you would do it that way. I don't think you would do it that way. I think if this had been planned from the start and written down from the start, and you was to go, okay, week 1 you're going to do this, week 2 you're going to do this, week 3 you're going to do this, week 4 you're going to do this, I don't think you would choose to do what we ended up doing, right? I mean, for example, the Howdy mask seems different, and we still haven't had an answer on that. And I think all that's confusing. I don't think that needed to be as confusing as what it was. We still haven't... I understand you can say that, oh, well, we still haven't had answers for that, but I mean, how many months are we now since he debuted? Since he came back? Like, we've got that kind of mask that Bray wears that is called an Uncle Howdy mask on WWE Shop. But honestly, that might only be because they don't know what to call it. It might be because they literally, like us, don't know what that's called. Don't know what it is. So they've gone with the Uncle Howdy name. But Uncle Howdy's mask is different to that mask. So I mean, like, it didn't need to be this messy. Like, you could have cleaned this up. Like, we should know at least what the characters are called, and we should know or at least have an idea of how they fit together. Like, why did Bray come back wearing that mask at Extreme Rules? First time we see him is wearing that mask. And then he gets interrupted by someone wearing the same mask. And I'm guessing it was because they wanted us to think and go down the road of that it was a split personality thing. But we still haven't seen anyone else in that mask. So, I mean, is that a split personality? Because it's not like he's been attacked by someone wearing that mask, you know. Again, it's hard, isn't it? 'Cause they ain't got no names for things. This is what I'm saying. Like, this could have been cleaner. This could have been a lot cleaner. And I think the story would have been stronger for it as well. I also think having different looking Uncle Howdy mask, I genuinely believe they made that full face Howdy mask that we saw in the video clips. I think they looked at it and went, don't like it. Don't like it. It doesn't look good. And I think they changed it. But the problem is, because those had already been recorded, we were still seeing those video clips. And then we end up having Uncle Howdy coming out in something that's been amended because it looks better. The one he wears looks better in ring than the one that we saw and see on the vignettes. So I think that was a run-in change. I don't think that was planned. I think that they looked at it and went, "Nah, we can make that look a bit cooler and a bit more credible, actually. We need to tweak that." And I think they tweaked it. That's just my opinion. So I do agree that has been hurt in the story. Like, I don't think this has been planned out and has been executed, which you have to say is a big disappointment, because that is something that we would blame Vince for. And I don't think this was Vince. I am surprised that this one has been as, dare I say, loose. Been a bit loose. I think it could have been tighter. I'm surprised it's been as loose as what it is, because I would have blamed Vince for that in the past and said, it's Vince. He changes things just before the shows. It must be a nightmare to work with Vince. This isn't Vince's fault. Vince weren't even around, was he? This was all when Vince was on the out. He was on the outside looking in. So I agree. And then I think they did have to try and fit in the pitch black match, which we know was, according to Bray in that interview, wasn't his idea. So they decided to put him in this pit black match, and they had to try and make that work. And look at that as well. I mean, we went into that match and we didn't even get told what it was. We didn't even know what it was. So I do agree. I'm not saying that the story and all of that has been like bad or anything. I'm just saying that I think it could have been tighter. And it is just funny how Vince gets a lot of that blame for changing things and changing like stories last minute. And then we sort of see the same happening under Triple H. Actually, to add further to that, Trish has apparently been backstage at Raw for the past few weeks and is meant to have been on the show. And they've done creative changes and she hasn't been on the show. Here's Charlotte. Seems like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Face-to-face time. Come on out, Rhea Ripley. Come on out. Why have I put Ronda? So she calls her out. She doesn't come out. She said, "Oh, do I sense hesitation?" Who's Dom? Big Dom? Queenie. Can I call you Queenie? No. Where's Andrade to slap the taste out of his mouth? Look at you out here taking orders like a good little Nemo. Finding Nemo. There he is. Her boy toy. You sound jealous? You sound jealous? You sound jealous? She is, man. She's jealous. She wants some of the ex-con. She wants some of the ex-con. Yeah? You should smile more often. They say the woman is the softer sex. Anyone else getting freaked out? I've already got a man at home that calls me mommy with a much thicker accent. Woo! This segment's wild, man. We both know what it's like to be compared to our fathers. Boo him. They don't like that comment. He said, I know my dad was worse. My dad's worse than your dad. You'll know that your dad was right. You're just not good enough. Unlike you, Dom, I love my dad. Woo! He's 73. He's 74 tomorrow. If he was here, he'd kick your butt. And Charlotte is taking the belt off. Charlotte stepping up. That's got to bring out Rhea. This is my brutality. Here's Rhea. Rhea coming down. Tell you what, that was a lot of responsibility that was for Big Dom, wasn't it? That's a big segment for Dom. Did all right. Did all right. Couple of moments I was getting a bit concerned with where we were going. But one more match. Oh God, imagine that as a retirement match. WrestleMania 39. The proper send-off. Forget Rick against Sean. Rick against Big Dom, ex-con Dom. Ric Flair lose. Oh my god. Ric Flair losing to Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania in a retirement match. Do you imagine the heat? Do you imagine the heat? It's probably worth gambling his life for that, isn't it? Might not make it through a match. It's worth it. Listen, think bigger picture, yeah? Think bigger picture. Ric Flair versus Dominic at WrestleMania. That would be the best, said Austin. Jeez Louise. They put more tickets on sale. What do they mean by that? Full view tickets. Full view tickets. Does that mean there's tickets where like one eye is obscured? There's some tickets where there's someone that sat right in front of you and you have to do that during WrestleMania. You have to get one of those Periscope things to watch WrestleMania. Full view. Listen, if I was spending the amount of money they're asking for tickets, full view is the least I would be looking for, to be honest. Tegan Knox is coming out with Natalya. Do I find that interesting? I do. Why is that happening? Wherever Shayna goes, Ronda Rousey goes. There we go. Then Natalya and Tegan are together. Natalya does not look natural. Get put behind a pillar so you can't see it. Full view? I still can't get my head around it. When they say full view, do they mean it's because it's both days, so you get to view everything? It's not like half a day where you're only watching half of WrestleMania. The only thing is, it does make it sound like some of the tickets have got obscured view, and maybe that's just not what they mean. Or maybe they do mean that. I don't know. Not my problem. Not my problem. I ain't going. Something to definitely think about if you are trying to get tickets, though. You don't want to get tickets and then find out that you're in catering. Do you know what I mean? With Akira Tozawa. Might be fun. Who knows? Have you seen Roman not being advertised for Money in the Bank, said Kian. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a big surprise. Don't know. Don't know if that's I mean, I'm trying to think, was he there last year? I can't remember if he was there last year. I remember obviously Liv cashing in. Was he on Money in the Bank? He doesn't do all of the shows, does he? Don't know. Might be a thing, might not be a thing. Full view is sitting in the middle instead of at the ends. Is that true? That true? So that is, because I wasn't being silly, like I couldn't figure out if they meant full view is because they were 2-day tickets, so you get to fully view WrestleMania, or if there was some sort of obscurement. But saying that, I mean, I've never really thought about it, but you do have those big pillars, don't you? At WrestleMania, they tend to have that big canopy thing that's got all the lighting rig and all that kind of stuff. So you have got these pillars. So are they partial view? Is that what they class as partial view? Is full? So I'm guessing what you're saying is middle of the row. That's what they class as full view. And then maybe more towards the end because of the pillars, which I've never really considered or thought about, to be honest. Interesting. That is interesting. Halftime scores. Yeah, you can do them. We are at commercial break. Where's the thing? There it is.
Halftime scores, everybody. It's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores, everybody. It's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores, everybody. It's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this.
Right, scores coming in. Serious Gaming with a 7, Jason with a 6, Mark with a 6, Zachary with a 5, Lee 475, Austin 7, Trey 6, Kian 7.5, Trini 675, David 7. Carl said I only just tuned in. Samantha said 6.5, Kieran with a 9, Michael with an 8, Chris with a 6.25, Let Him In with a 6.5, Tony with a 5.9, Jojo 6.5, Chris with the 7, Rock and Sock Connection with the 7, Max with a 7, Tim said 0. Seeing Sami Zayn's weekends. Elimination Chamber vlog behind the scenes. So that's gone on to a special vlog that shows Sami's 48 hours in Montreal. Oh, look at his wife and his kids. Ooh, look at that bruise that Natalia's got. Here's Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Bit of a shame that Shayna Baszler has to come out to Ronda Rousey's music. Shayna making her way down to the ring. Ronda obviously with her as well. Undertaker 1, Dead Man Show. Going Ghost said, you missed my super chat, but I've sent my question through Twitter. Oh, that's a good way of doing it. This was my super chat. What crowd gave Roman more heat? At Elimination Chamber or the Raw after Mania when Roman was beaten? I mean, I think it's really hard. The one after WrestleMania is literally, 8 to 10 minutes of just loads of chants. Roman standing there, just having to take it as all these negative chants come down on him. And basically, after about 8-10 minutes, he says, "This is my yard now." Throws the mic down and leaves, walks away. To a chorus of boos. In Montreal, obviously, loads of heat and everything. I don't think it goes for 10 minutes. In all fairness, it probably would have if they'd have just left it. But they had to start the match, didn't they? It's one thing to stand there and wait when you are going to be cutting a promo. Certainly if the only things that you're going to be saying is "this is my yard now" and then walk off. Whether I don't actually know if there was more planned than that, or if he did what Sami did the other day and just let the crowd take over and then just cut out a load of the verbiage. So I don't know. He might have had a whole spiel planned, but the only thing he ends up saying is "this is my yard now," and then he walks away. I'd have to say they're about the same, to be honest. I know that's a cop-out, but I think if you look at time-wise, I would imagine the Undertaker one probably beats it. But they had to start the match. That crowd, it's not like the crowd were starting to go quiet and, let's start the match. They just had to start the match because of timing and all of that on the pay-per-view and everything they had planned and whatever. So I think they're about the same. But did you buy a ticket for Money in the Bank? No, I didn't even try, buds. I'm streaming it on. We always stream. Drop kick through the ropes. Bray not physically there. It's going to be a video. Wrestle Andy said, it's crazy. Ronda is now just a mid-carder on a weekly SmackDown. Yeah, I mean... it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. If it's going to result in women's tag titles, it's probably not the worst. I mean, she's been around the title. And the thing is, they don't have any stories for her to do. They don't have, like, good creative for her. Hopefully, they give her some good creative. That's what she needs more than a belt, to be honest. Ronda stepping in. Natalya is down. Natalya has been submitted. Shayna boots Tegan. Tegan comes in and she knocks down Ronda. Chases Shayna away. I mean, who the hell is this? Yeah. Who the hell is this? You're done next week, Skittles. 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 You're done next week, Skittles. I like that line. She does have multicolored hair. WrestleMania is 5 weeks from tomorrow. You're done next week, Skittles. Right, we've just got another look at the Joker vignette. Okay, Funhouse coming up soon. I mean, it needed to, in all fairness, because we've got, I think, Jimmy J and all that is going to be the show closer. The whole city's on the edge of its seats. I think Natalya really tasted that knee. New name is Skittles. A Skittles match at WrestleMania. Taste the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. She is the man. That makeup's so good. So good. He looks so good. He looks so good. He could actually be the Joker. Like, if he was actually the Joker, I wouldn't have any complaints. He looks so good. Tegan knee again, said Tony. Well, I mean, unless they're going to use that as a way of getting her out of the match for next week. But it seems like Ronda wanted to face her next week. In all fairness, though, if they can avoid it, it would probably make sense because, like, Ronda's just going to kill her. Tegan getting killed by Ronda. Probably doesn't help Tegan much, does it? Text talk about stop live in TikTok. Keisha, shout out to you. I don't know what that means, but shout out to TikTok. Twisted Tonic, Bray is the best. I'm his best fan. Please, Vince, don't screw this. I don't think it's got anything to do with Vince. I think this is... If it had anything to do with Vince, I don't think Bray would be here, to be honest. So, I think this is down to Triple H, Bray, probably Bruce Pritchard being involved, Rob Fee. There'll still be plenty of fingers in this pie, But I don't know that Vince is involved. Ronda is on TV every week now. She's no longer a special attraction, said Junior. The Joker commercial is pretty damn good, said Samantha. Have halftime scores been done already? They have, yes. Roman Reigns, Putes dia chidestas diatosi Bruxelles. Yeah, I have said that. I've said that a few times, actually. Bray versus Bobby, though, I would have liked Bray Edge or Bray Carrion, says Knight Rider. Days, it's 2023. There's no putting fingers in pies. That's true. That's been cancelled. Twisted Tonic said, can see Bray being let go. The run has been god-awful. Love the Fiends, but he's gone stale. With Vince supposedly back, it isn't looking good. The Vince being back stuff is just not true, apparently. Or at least unconfirmed. So, apparently, someone said to Sean Ross Sapp that they believed Vince was back. When Sean tried to get that confirmed, no one would confirm it. And actually, a higher up said that's just not true. He's not in creative. So obviously the headline went out that Vince is back because that's what one of the wrestlers, someone in the locker room has suggested or believes, but they can't get that confirmed. And higher ups are saying actually no, it's not true. So I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I don't think that's where we are, to be honest. I don't know who's more stale, Ronda or the New Day, or maybe Madcap. If not them, who do you think has become stale? Well, we can't answer that at the moment because it's a fun house. Here we go. Dun dun dun. Okay, empty fun house. Oh, hello. The beast is rising. Wow. Who's this? So Bray was kind of watching back his own promo. Rambling Rabbit, Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse News. Who opened the door? Damn. Wow. I am all of us. Man, I feel like there's loads in here, you know. And it's being presented like really different. Coming up on Channel 6. That's cool, isn't it? Can you hear Rambling Rabbit? Ah, man. I mean, I feel like there's so much in there. So much. So many Easter eggs. I mean, the fact alone that, like, the figures like Undertaker versus Undertaker. I just think that's really interesting because that's a match that's been referenced quite a few times. Is Undertaker versus Undertaker, and that's him fighting himself. You know, of all the figures to choose, why would you choose two Undertakers? I found that interesting. I found the Channel 6 thing obviously interesting. There's imagery in there. There's quotes in there. The Beast is Rising quote is in there. Bray watching himself when he said that he doesn't do that is interesting, but also sort of felt a little bit like, was that a bit of a play on the fans watching and analyzing him like he was watching and analyzing like his own promo? And like we kept like going around. There was a couple of like really sick images in there. You need to handle Jay tonight, or the tribal chief will handle him for you. Uncle Howdy talked. Uncle Howdy saying, "I am everyone" might mean something. Yeah. What do you think? I don't know, dude. I don't know who Yoshiko is. He could be making fun of the way everyone watches TV on an angle. I think the story is really dead, said Ethan. I honestly expected Bray against Uncle Howdy. I loved and enjoyed the Funhouse. Keep it going, said Wayne. Fiend uses a red light. Black Mask, yeah. Female voice sounded like Alexa, said Terminal. Can United win the quad this season? They could. I don't think they will, but they could. So, handle Jay or the tribal chief will. We don't get answers. That's what annoys me, says Ethan. Can you keep a secret? Interesting, but we need payoff. Little Jimmy is part of the Funhouse. Didn't understand that Funhouse segment. Well, I mean, I need to watch it back to like get the references, but just from the things that I've seen on that one viewing of it, I feel like there's loads in there. I feel like there's loads. I feel like that has been designed to get people speculating and talking about it. Like there's a lot. I've got the video clip. Let's see if I can watch it back. I've got an advert over the top of it, which is annoying. Actually, I've got the Funhouse. We're at commercial break. Never ever ends. What does he say? He says something at the start. Lie for me. I think he says lie for me at the start. There's also... That's interesting. When the light goes red, things seem to change a little bit in the sense of... So we don't see Mercy's box. So we see the Funhouse. We don't see Mercy's box. We're still at commercial break, by the way. There's like a little box there instead. Don't know what that is. And then when it goes red, I think it disappears. There's no puppets. I mean, the puppets are gone. The little box goes to the floor. The little box, I think, goes to the floor. Why does it do that? Is it on the floor before? No, it's not. And the door's closed. Who opened the door? That's what he says, isn't it? At the end, who opened the door? That's interesting. So when it starts, we see the funhouse. Door is closed. There's a little box on the table. He says, lie for me. I think he says lie for me. I don't think he says hide from me. They're quite close, but it sounds like he says lie for me. Room goes red. Door is suddenly open. And the box has moved onto the floor. This is interesting. He said skip to the next segment, said Wisp. Bray opened the door. Wow, the red light would suggest that, I mean, that feels like it's Fiend. Feels like that's Fiend, and so that feels to me like it's going to be a case that we're maybe teasing that the Fiend is on the way. Ray has made his way down. He did say, lie in for me, but to who? Alexa opened the door. Right, here's Ray versus Carrion is what we've got right now. I mean, clearly I'm going to do a video on this, but I don't want to rush it. I want to go, like, do it properly. So TV flickers, and then you hear him say, the beast is rising. Which is interesting. And I think the Undertaker versus Undertaker is very interesting. Undertaker versus Undertaker. Right, here's Scarlett. So, two figures fighting. Rest in peace. No, you do. They don't look like Bray's arms. I mean, it probably doesn't matter that it's not Bray that's playing with the figures. It's probably not a factor. But I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. I feel like it's still worth talking about. Then we cut to Bray watching a promo. Looks at the camera and, like, reacts. I feel like I really feel like he's not ripping on the fans, but I don't know, that feels like a different persona, doesn't it? Him watching his promo, like, he's not even acting like Bray. It feels like he's acting like a fan watching this promo, reacting and being shocked about what is being said. Right, we are underway. Jake said, look at the box. It's the jack in the box that Alexa used. That's interesting. Do you think that teases Alexa then? Is it the same one that Alexa used, though? Has someone, like, actually confirmed that, like, comparing them side by side? Because it could be one of those, couldn't it? Come on, someone could say that it's the same, and then if you actually went back and looked and compared them, they may be different, or they may be the same. But I don't know if someone's actually gone back and done that. Okay, then we go over. I love that. I love the little Raw logo that's been drawn in the corner. I think that's really fun. And then we go to Firefly Funhouse News with Bray and Ramblin' Rabbit. So I think what happens is I think we get a really interesting thing at the start with the box and the light and all of that kind of stuff. Then we go into Bray watching his promo, acting like a fan. I don't think there's anything much to read into that other than I think we're trying to tell the story. You've got to remember that there's people that don't watch every week and we need to kind of try and bring them up to speed. So, you know, you've got Bray's promo in there and it's been presented in a very interesting way. They haven't just shown you what he said, like Bray's actually watching it and reacting to it, right? That's pretty fun. And then we see what Bobby said. So I think that part of this is just a way of kind of bringing you up to speed, just very much as you would with a video package. So we get an interesting start with the door being opened. We then get the middle segment whereby we have like a bit of a recap as to where we are with this story. And now we go into what I think is a very interesting bit, which is the Firefly Funhouse News. I didn't catch all the words here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Funhouse News. I don't understand what he says there. He's talking about a dragon. I don't get this bit. Right. Dragon with what? 7 horns? I feel like that needs to be looked into as to what that is. It's probably something to do with like Beelzebub or something. Welcome to Funhouse News. But to be honest, bleep is not okay here. So there's a dragon rising out of the sea with 7 horns and 7 crowns. Again, I feel like this is a reference. I feel like if you used to search that, it'll turn out that it's, I don't know, the god of flatulence. I don't know. Bleep is not okay. Dragon. Rising out the sea. 7 horns. 10 crowns. More importantly, who opened the door? So, more importantly, who opened the door? It's a biblical reference. 7 heads, 10 crowns. It's from Revelations. Thank you. Revelations. Anyone know what it refers to? Now I've got God of Flatulence stuck in my head. More importantly, who opened the door? Right, we've just had quite a bit in the way of commercial breaks. We are back with Ray versus Carrion, though. Against the ropes goes Ray. Gets thrown to the outsides. Next up, we get the weather with Uncle Howdy. I need all my weather from Uncle Howdy. not that I think it matters, but we are looking at what Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee seem to be focused on those areas. Not that it matters. It may matter. Time for the weather. I mean, we've heard Howdy talk before. I don't know why we didn't hear him talk again there. We've heard Howdy talk. Howdy. It's one of the first things we heard. When Bray Wyatt came back, I think it might have been on the first SmackDown. I can't remember, but yeah, they went for a computer voice. I am all of us. Ray on the shoulders of Carrion. Is it me or did Uncle Howdy sound like Kane when he spoke with the voice box? Yeah. I am all of us. The false prophet is Bray. The beast is the Fiend. The Antichrist is Uncle Howdy. I might be high as hell, so don't mind me. Have you seen the blinking lights on cloth that was exactly a 6? Have I seen the blinking lights on cloth? Where? What? On what? On what thing? I might have gone past it. I might not have got to it yet. I mean, I've already seen it once and made like some notes on it, but I'm just going like frame by frame. Just looking at the can you keep a secret wheel? It's got yes, no, maybe. Whoa, Scarlett flips in. Scarlett hit hard, flipped into the ring there. She got really like stuck onto the ropes momentarily. Here's big ex-con Dom. Ex-con Dom in the house. Come on. Do something. You gonna hit me? No. You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing. So, Carrion versus Ray. Outside interference. By Scarlett and Dom. And that's going to be a win for Carry On. Here is your winner. Ray's shirt's quite interesting in this Can You Keep a Secret segment. I'm guessing that it's probably a reference to Dante's Inferno again. Right, how long we got? Probably at the main events. Dominic gets up and he pushes Ray. I don't want to see Ray fight back, to be honest. I don't want to see Ray fight back. You're going to hit me? I don't think you should. Just walk away. He gets pushed again. He goes against the ropes. See, Ray steps up to his son. Can't do it. No, don't. Why are they chanting do it? Crowd are chanting do it. Yeah, hit your own son, Ray. No, I don't think he should. I really don't think he should. I don't think he should because I think he... this is where Dominic's getting all his heat from. Like, Ray can't do that to his family. Dominic knows that he can't do it, and he keeps interrupting matches, getting in his face. It's just building up more heat. The heat is just building and building and building. Yeah, that was really good, that was. He really pushed Ray to his limit. Love the build, said Michael. It's really good, isn't it? Really good. Right, I think we're nearing the end of this breakdown of the funhouse. But let's have a little look, see where we are. Emergency broadcast. Now, I think that's something as well. Emergency broadcast. That must have been... That is... got to be like a reference to something. Official government information. Civil defense instructions. Looks old, doesn't it? Like, it looks like it has been used. Like, maybe it was used like for the Cuban Missile Crisis or something. Like, why would you... They've made loads of graphics. So if you was going to have an emergency broadcast system, wouldn't you have an emergency broadcast system that was Firefly Funhouse themed? Wouldn't you have the puppets? You know, maybe you'd have... I don't know, like something to do with the puppets, like making an announcement or whatever. Instead, this seems very specific as to why you would choose this graphic. It makes me think that this was shown or used for something in the past. That's, you know, it's a little reference. I don't even know how you'd look into that, to be honest. Famous emergency broadcast system announcement. Come on, we've all got our top 10s. We've all got our top 10 favorite emergency broadcast system announcements. Right, and now we're at the end stage. I love the imagery, like, on the door. I don't know if they're trying to suggest that it's through the door, but it's like they've put a TV screen on the door. The Dragon with 7 Horns is from Revelation, says Camilo. Shout out to you. Can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret? No, not really. Not really. I'm probably not the best person to tell this secret to be honest. I'm not very trustworthy. Then later... Can you keep a secret? You see what? What does he say? Can you keep a secret? What you say? Stop mumbling, man! Stop mumbling! Can you? Here we go. I've got to listen. Can you see the sun? What does he say? I don't know what he says. If anyone knows what he says in that bit, feel free to let me know, because he says, can you keep a secret? Can you... I'm going to turn it right up. Can you keep a secret? Can you... Days, the cloth on the chair near the door. The cloth on the chair near the door. There's a woman's voice. I don't know that that's Alexa. I don't know that it isn't Alexa, but I don't know that it is Alexa. Put Alexa question mark. Still waiting for our main event here. We've been at commercial break. They're just breaking down next week. We've got Natalya and Tegan against Ronda and Shayna. I actually don't think it's Alexa. Don't think it's Alexa. That mask does look black, doesn't it? You got Rambling Rabbit pleading as well. I hate mumblers because I'm deaf. I can't hear them when I turn my switching aid on, said Maggie. I can't hear what he's saying. I mean, I understand that this is one that he expects the fans to like look into and really break down. So, you know, I understand him not making it super easy. But could be a bit clearer. Rambling Rabbit's pleading as well with someone, but I think I'm at the end of it. If I told you a story, could you keep a secret? Okay. Thankfully, I got to the end just as Jay came in the ring. Jake said there's a serious chance we get a female Fiend. Okay, Jimmy said, I'm always here for you. Cracks in the bloodline. Here's Sami. Here's Sami. Sami jumps in the ring. Sami is in there with Jimmy. This is pretty cool. Not here to fight. Every time I hear you say the word brother, it breaks my heart. That's what you was to me. We were dogs. You did. There's no feeling Usi without you. Usi chance. You didn't think twice at the Rumble. God, I love this. That hurt. Sami chance. What's Jimmy going to say? You want to blame me? You made the choice. You stepped on me and on Jay. Family doesn't make you test your loyalty every week. Looks like Jay's there. Looks like Jay's coming down. It's great, isn't it? I mean, it's gripping stuff. It's brilliant. Jimmy isn't being very Uso. Sami said, I'm going to make sure that Roman and the bloodline comes crumbling down. You don't have to go down with the ship. Jimmy attacks Sami. Okay, so Jimmy is attacking Sami. Jay's going to have another choice to make, isn't he? Haluva by Sami. So Sami with a haluva. Sami. What are we going to get here? We've only got 4 minutes left to go. We've only got 4 minutes left to go. Emergency broadcast, category F5, as in a hurricane. Is that what that is a reference to, though? Oh, Solo's arrived. Optics are quite interesting here with both Sami and Jay in the crowds and Solo and Jimmy in the ring. Solo and Jay versus Jimmy and Solo is an option. Jay in the crowds. God, what a mess. What a mess. Why can't we all just get along? The story continues. I don't think Sami should have kicked Jimmy there. Right. Boom. There we go. The segment did way more than Bray's Funhouse, said Wisp. Category F5, maybe Brock Lesnar isn't done for Mania. That's one way to end the show, although we've not gone to commercial. At commercial right now. Boom. Right, I am going to go. Obviously, we need to do that Funhouse video. I need to do the review of this show. There's so much to talk about. I feel like I'm probably going to have a load of notifications as well, which is awesome because I'm clearly not going to be able to pick up on everything myself. But I have gone through it, as you've just seen, step by step. I think there's some interesting stuff in there. I think some Easter eggs in that Funhouse episode. I think the Sami story is... Oh, it's great. I mean, it's interesting. It's I can't quite tell where it's heading, but as I said, it feels like it's going to be. It feels like it's going to be Usos against Sami and Kevin, but still no choice made by Jay tonight. And I suppose in a way, it's just. I enjoyed seeing Sami and Jay. I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed seeing them interacting because I must admit, that is something that's crossed my mind. Not that I've been surprised by Jimmy's reaction, but Jimmy was the one that did make Sami honorary use. Jimmy was the one that was very welcoming to Sami right from the start. So for him to just immediately turn on Sami and attack him, it wasn't weird or out of place because, of course, Jimmy would choose his family over Sami. So there's nothing wrong there. But I'm really glad we got that segment. I'm really glad that Sami got an opportunity to speak to Jimmy and say, that hurt. You betraying me as quick in a flash, no hesitation. Like you had my back from the start. I had your back from the start. That hurt. And Jimmy said exactly what he should have said. You're the one that made the choice. But even though it's all super obvious, super logical, super, like, predictable, whatever, it's still really great that they had that conversation. I feel like it was still a conversation that needed to be had. So I really like it. And what with Jay watching on, and you don't quite know it's going. The only thing I would say is that I don't feel like beyond that anything seismic happened. Right, there's been no development there, We got a great conversation, a conversation that I think needed to be had. But nothing more than that. So, I don't know, the story, it is one of those, isn't it? The story continues. I'm not down on it at all. The story continues. But, don't know, there might be some out there that were hoping for something a bit more satisfying, maybe. The crowd was probably the worst I've seen. It was terrible. Sometimes you do have to take that sidestep before progressing. Hoodie Zayn is a bigger menace to society than Durag Vince or Perk Angle. Right, okay, I'm going to shoot. I need to shoot to get this video done and check Twitter. Appreciate the support. Don't forget, we are back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow, and we're going to be doing... obviously UFC. So we're doing the main cards and we're doing the top end of the prelims. I wasn't able to research the full card, unfortunately, which is genuinely a shame. But my focus has very much been on Tommy and Jake Paul. So we're doing that on Sunday as well. So if you are around on Sunday and you want to share your thoughts, jump in with us. We will be here on Sunday for that. Awesome, guys. Thanks for watching. Firefly Funhouse video up within the next, going to aim for half an hour, but we'll see. Appreciate the support, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye for now.